Chapter 1, Forbidden Zone 6, The Self-Sealed Taboo Genius. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the edge of the universe lies a forbidden zone of spacetime, rumble. The sky darkens, trembling violently, a monstrous storm of thunder gathers, a cataclysmic force sweeping across the endless starfields, crack, 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 countless constellations seem affected by this power, collapsing and shattering, revealing spiderwebs of spatial rifts. What is that? Countless beings across the universe gaze up in fear, hearts pounding, they feel a terrifying force shaking the very fabric of existence. Ancient immortal sects and slumbering elders from long-lived families awaken in their ancestral lands, turning their gazes toward the edge of the heavens, stuttering with shock, they whisper, that seems to be the direction of the spacetime forbidden zone. The heavens restart, spacetime reappears, the echoes. The legends, they're true. Is the spacetime forbidden zone, silent for countless ages, truly awakening now? The spacetime forbidden zone, the end of the heavens, a land forbidden to gods and demons, a taboo in the eyes of countless beings. Legends say, countless ages ago, the laws of the heavens were complete, spiritual energy abundant, the great Daos resonated in harmony, countless teachings flourished, and countless supreme beings emerged, ushering in a golden age for all of creation. That era was known as the glorious epoch of the heavens. Within that glorious epoch, 16 dominant powers dwarfed all other immortal lineages, their foundations were said to be invincible, supreme above all else. These 16 forces, beyond comprehension, were called, the Forbidden Zones of the Heavens. That title embodied the awe of all beings for their absolute power. As the name suggests, the Forbidden Zones halted all souls. Trespassers faced certain death, with no hope of reincarnation. In that ancient age, the 16 forbidden zones ruled the heavens. Countless ancient traditions and supreme beings bowed to their might. They were the kings of all creation. But then, for reasons unknown, disputes and friction erupted among the 16 forbidden zones. Over countless ages, this conflict intensified, escalating into a full-blown war among the heavens, led by the 16 forbidden zones. That war engulfed the lives of billions across all realms. Its devastation was so great that it annihilated countless worlds and buried countless powerful figures. Even the legendary 3,000 great Daos were shattered into fragments. And that marked the beginning of the end. Spiritual energy diminished, saints vanished, emperors were no more, and the world entered the age of Dharma's end. Of the legendary 16 forbidden zones, only one remained, the other 15 vanished into the annals of time, along with that glorious epoch. Whether they lie hidden within the river of time, or were reduced to dust, remains unknown. The outcome of that war is a mystery. But the one forbidden zone that still exists is the spacetime forbidden zone, known as the graveyard of time and space. Meanwhile, within this spacetime forbidden zone, considered taboo by countless beings, 5 majestic figures, radiating immense power and surrounded by the laws of spacetime, tear through the void and descend beneath a sacred mountain that pierces the sky. Their mere presence, the potent imperial aura emanating from them, distorts and disrupts the surrounding space. If outsiders were to witness this, it would cause an uproar. In an era devoid of emperors, 5 powerful emperors stand here. Especially the leader, clad in 9 dragons' mysterious robes, whose imperial aura is even more terrifying. He is the current master of the spacetime forbidden zone. The invincible figure who once used spacetime to prove his mastery and eclipse the heavens, the great emperor of spacetime, Kong Wudao. He has led these ancient emperors to awaken one person, known as the most exceptional young prodigy in the spacetime forbidden zone, a man who was unrivaled in that ancient era, suppressing a generation of geniuses. His son, the holy son of the spacetime forbidden zone, Kong Wudao. Kong Wudao sleeps within this sacred mountain. The spacetime heavenly mountain pulses with the power of spacetime. Sleeping within, one's body and soul are enveloped in spacetime, entering a state of suspended animation. Even if countless ages pass, their lifespan and soul remain untouched. It's not that the spacetime forbidden zone wanted to seal this young taboo in the spacetime heavenly mountain. It was requested by Kong Wudao himself. Kong Wudao was too strong. Even those prodigies who claimed invincibility were like chickens before Kong Wudao. Kong Wudao was an insurmountable sacred mountain, driving countless geniuses to despair. Being too powerful, Kong Wudao struggled to find worthy opponents, and the great Dao felt boring, so, he asked his father to seal him within the space-time heavenly mountain. He would only be awakened when the great Dao recovered and the worlds entered a new glorious era. He hopes that in this supposed era of revival, monsters like him will emerge, so his path would not be so tedious. My son, the heavens have restarted, the realms are contending. The glorious world you awaited has arrived. It's time to awaken. Kong Wudao and the other emperors acted together, boom. A wave of ultimate imperial radiance erupted, centered around them. The immense imperial power freezes the years and reverses the laws. The divine light of the great Tao transformed by the laws of space-time descended, completely covering the space in all directions. The sacred mountain trembled and roared, rumbling. The black light and thunder gathered above the space-time forbidden zone swept across the sky, reaching a boiling point. Such a shocking event drew the attention of countless powerful forces, their expressions alarmed and uncertain. What's happening in the space-time forbidden zone? Why such a terrifying disturbance? Damn it! These guys have just woken up from years of slumber, and they're already making big moves. Do they plan to dominate the heavens again? Some stubborn old-timers retorted, No need to worry. The era of the 16 forbidden zones is over. Many ancient forces have revived across the heavens, and even many new powers have risen, becoming invincible giants. That's right. After experiencing such devastation, it's foolish to dream of dominating the world. The space-time forbidden zone, one of the 16 forbidden zones of the glorious epoch, is indeed powerful, but it has been silent for countless ages. In that time, the laws of all heavens have revived. As a result, many immortal cultivators across the worlds claim to be as strong as the 16 forbidden zones once were. But that's just their perception. Back then, the 16 forbidden zones were able to dominate the heavens on their own. The space-time forbidden zone is recognized as the first restricted area, and it is not something that cats and dogs of later generations can touch. Within the space-time forbidden zone, many people raised their eyes to look at the space-time heavenly mountain. Is the legendary holy son Wu Dao finally being born in this era? I heard that he was sealed because he was too invincible and felt the Tao was boring. Now that the world has restarted, will he find a worthy opponent? Ha! Now that the holy son Wu Dao has awakened, our 9 emperors finally have a backbone. The space-time forbidden zone has existed for countless ages, producing many exceptional geniuses. The 9 most outstanding individuals were named emperors' sons or daughters. However, all the ancestors know that even though these 9 are strong, easily defeating others, they are still far behind Kong Wudao's talent and strength. Chapter 2 System. Use the accessories you don't have at all. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time and Space Mountain. Blinding light from time and space bathed the massive, sacred mountain, making it even more radiant. From deep within the time and space mountain, a heartbeat, primal and echoing from ancient times, pulsed out, resonating across the vastness of the world. Then, the immense power of time and space converged at the foot of the mountain, forming a white space-time vortex, accompanied by the ethereal music of the Tao. Blossoms of enlightenment rained down from the sky. A majestic figure strode out of that indescribable place, walking on the long river of time. He's here. The Son of God. Kong Wudao and the other waiting emperors exclaimed with delight. As the swirling mists gradually cleared, the figure within finally became visible. It was a young man, tall and elegant, clad in a moon-white robe. His dark hair shimmered like a cascade of stars. Swirling, dancing space-time runes encircled him, making his already imposing figure seem like an immortal exile to the mortal realm. His eyes were like the vast universe, filled with surging fragments of time and space, coalescing into divine patterns and avenues. These were the divine eyes of time and space origin, the unique, innate trait of the time and space forbidden zone. An innate physique surpassing the 3,000 Tao bodies, a rarity in all of existence. This was a power that would undoubtedly transcend the ordinary world. One who possessed these eyes was naturally connected to the Tao of time and space. Mastering them allowed one to wield the legendary power of time and space, even to temporarily freeze the time and space of a region, eliminating any obstacle. But in addition to these divine eyes, Kong Wudao also possessed the chaos void body, the power to cleave the heavens and condense primordial chaos, the beginning of the universe and the origin of all things. Another innate physique, surpassing even the 3,000 Dao bodies. With these two terrifying gifts, combined with Kong Wudao's incredible insight, his power and talent were truly unimaginable. Father, is the glorious age of the future finally here? Sealed within the time and space mountain for so many years, Kong Wudao had been cut off from the outside world. However, he could sense that the spiritual energy and laws of the world were far stronger now than they had been in the era of destruction, several times stronger. In such a fertile environment, many great geniuses should be emerging, right? That era of disillusionment had been boring, even the most formidable geniuses could barely withstand 5 moves against him. It was pathetic. He hoped this era of recovery would produce some worthy opponents. Suddenly, a disembodied voice echoed in his mind, ding. A destined individual has been detected. The heavenly hunting system has been activated. Assisting the host to become invincible. Self-binding in progress. Binding failed. Ding. The host's involvement in cause and effect is too significant to permit forced binding. The host's consent is required. Does the host wish to be bound to the heavenly hunting system? Become a hunter across the heavens? A system? Kong Wudao was surprised. He hadn't heard that word in a long time. When he first arrived in this world, he was just a baby, but the system he had expected never appeared, and there had been no sign of one in all the years since. Kong Wudao didn't care. After all, in terms of background and talent, he was already unbeatable. His father was the master of the time and space forbidden zone. And he had countless ancestors from the zone backing him. His grandfather had long since transcended this world. Not to mention his own innate abilities, he had awakened 2 original constitutions that transcended the 3,000 Dao bodies at birth. Even the most advanced Dao techniques in the world were his for the taking. With unparalleled talent and an unbeatable lineage, he could stand proud and suppress the geniuses of any era, even without the help of a system. In fact, this overwhelming power had made his life feel dull, which was why he had sealed himself away. The absence of a system was irrelevant to him. I can get anything I want with my own power. Your system would be nothing more than a useless trinket. And what use is a useless trinket? Kong Wudao could sense the system in his mind fall silent. When the system was first created, its god had told it that the hosts would devoutly worship it as a god, but the host it had chosen was not only indifferent, but had also compared it to a trinket, a useless trinket. Not just useless, but completely useless. The system had never been so humiliated. Fine, that's how you want to play it, is it? Just you wait, I'll be back and you will regret this. As the system's words faded, Kong Wudao could feel its power diminishing. It seemed it was really gone. Kong Wudao didn't react much. He was just stating the truth. Other transmigrators might need a system, but he was truly too spoiled to need it, or even want it. It would be more interesting to find some worthy geniuses for these systems to bind to. If this era was like the era of destruction, and no one could even put up a fight, then he would simply seal himself away for another era. Wudao, what's wrong? You look a little pale, Kong Wuji asked, concerned. His cultivation was immense, and he had reached the ultimate realm of the great emperor. He had noticed Kong Wudao's momentary lapse. Nothing. I'm just curious about this era of recovery you mentioned, Kong Wudao said with a faint smile. He hadn't seen his dear old dad in years. Even though he was a transmigrator, his father had doted on him when he was growing up. For that reason, countless resources from the time and space forbidden zone had been poured into him, making him incredibly privileged. Haha. Wudao, your cultivation is already at the Dao Palace level. I doubt any genius alive today has surpassed you. In this universe, the realms were roughly, body tempering, blood moving, spirit transformation, purple mansion, cave void, dharma enlightenment, divine treasure, Dao Palace, virtual god, divine king, saint, holy lord, supreme, quasi-emperor, great emperor. There were rumored to be higher realms beyond that, but that was a concern for another day. Father, have you found any trace of the other 15 forbidden zones in recent years? Before he fell into a deep sleep, the great battle of the heavens had ended. except for his time and space forbidden zone, all the other zones had vanished without a trace. It was as if they had disappeared into thin air. His father had been searching for them all these years. Of course. Kong Wudao was silent for a moment, then said, "There's too much tied to that matter. Even though your strength is not weak, Wudao, you should avoid getting involved for now. The world has been reborn, and the era of recovery is here. Once you become an emperor in this new era, you'll be qualified to understand all the secrets." Kong Wudao's eyes flickered. He felt like his father knew a lot more than he was letting on, and was deliberately keeping him in the dark, but he couldn't be bothered to dwell on it. With his current strength, he wasn't ready for the whole truth. Anyway, Kong Wudao continued, "Oh, right, now that you're awake, Wudao, you'll be traveling the world, won't you? Do you want to pick out some suitable followers? During your long sleep, 9 emperors' sons and daughters emerged from our time and space forbidden zone. They're all extraordinarily talented. I think they'd be worthy of being your followers." The other emperors exchanged glances, smiling wryly. The sons and daughters in their forbidden zone were talented and powerful, and they all had their own followers, but now that the true Son of God had awakened, he was far stronger than any of them. Only the very best among them would be worthy of serving him. Chapter 3, because it is too invincible, the system is blackened and upgraded to a god-level heavenl. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Emperor's kids, huh? Kong Wudao's eyes flickered, a hint of interest sparking within. Whether they're followers or not isn't the point. What he really wanted was to gauge the power of these imperial sons and daughters in his temporal and spatial backyard. After such a long nap, his meridians were a bit stiff. He needed some decent punching bags, training partners. Just then, the system's sound that had vanished returned. Ding! The heavenly hunting system is back online. This system took a special trip back to Main God HQ for a major upgrade. We're talking Supreme Deluxe Edition. What's up? Did our host think this system couldn't keep up? Kong Wudao frowned. Why are you back? Supreme Deluxe Edition. Not that you're inadequate. It's just. I don't need you. Go find someone else. The system's ego took another hit, shattering its defenses completely. Not only did he not want to be bound, but he wanted to pawn it off on someone else. What was that? This system practically begged the system god for this upgrade. This Supreme Deluxe Edition you're just going to reject. I really don't want it. Host, are you sure? Is this some kind of reverse psychology? Trying to get this system's attention? Let me tell you, that trick is ancient. Don't try to fool me. I won't fall for it. Kong Wudao rolled his eyes, too bored to respond. This system is now Supreme Deluxe. Tons of people are dying to bind with me, but I said no. You sure you're turning me down? Kong Wudao remained silent, but the snow fell on my eyelashes. Okay, fine, I didn't really want to bind you anyway. Actually, I found a host that's a way better fit. Hello. You gonna say something? LOL, you think I actually want you? Get real. I don't want to bind you, not even a little bit. Has anyone ever told you? You're such a tryhard. Actually. I was kidnapped just now, those words weren't mine. If you really want to bind, just ask nicely, and maybe I'll condescend to agree. Alright, I was snatched away again. So, you really don't want this system to help you reach the pinnacle of life? I don't want to, Kong Wudao replied tersely. The next moment, the system seemed to snap. Screw this. Fine. Why won't you bind? Bind. Bind. Fine. If you won't bind willingly, I'll make you. You're not getting away from this system. As the system's voice faded, Kong Wudao felt a faint sting in his mind, as if an external force was trying to invade. However, the time-space forbidden zone of Kong Wudao's sea of consciousness was protected by special restrictions placed by his ancestors. The power of the great Dao contained within was enough to obliterate any external invasion. Boom. Star. The system was only halfway through the binding process when it was struck by a terrifying force. The system felt as though it was witnessing countless gods manifested in the avenue of time and space. The terrifying power emanating from their bodies blasted it away. Under the force of the impact, Kong Wudao saw the system's dialogue box torn to shreds by the forbidden power in his soul. Actually, the system was completely broken. After upgrading to Supreme Deluxe, he was still being looked down on. Even a forced binding failed. What was the world coming to? How could it ever face other systems again? Seeing that it wouldn't take no for an answer, and even wanted to force itself on him, Kong Wudao frowned slightly, now annoyed. If that was the case, he'd have no choice but to ask his ancestors to wipe this system out, but before he could act, a completely unexpected scene unfolded. Wah! Wah! To upgrade this system. I had to take out loans. If this binding fails, how will I ever pay them back? Wah wah wah. System, are you? Kong Wudao was stunned. Was he seeing things? Was the system actually crying? Could systems even do that? Wah! The system's voice grew louder, transforming into a vague, shadowy figure writhing in despair before Kong Wudao. Between sobs, it howled, I don't care. I don't care. Bind me. You have to bind me. Wah wah wah. Kong Wudao facepalmed, the loud, irritating sobs grating on his nerves. Alright, quit your blubbering. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself. If you can make a good pitch, I might consider binding. Really? The system stopped crying instantly, audibly sucking up imaginary snot. While it did prefer the binding to happen before the introduction, it was no longer in a position to push for that. The host, see, this system is the Supreme Deluxe Heavenly Hunting System, dedicated to hunting the heavens for the host, hunting everything in the world. If the host can imagine it, this system can hunt it. Become a hunter of the heavens and hunt the heavens? Kong Wudao sneered, I think you haven't figured something out yet. Given my talent, strength, and background, I could become a hunter of the world without a system, right? What value could you possibly add? But, by completing the missions the system assigns, the host can receive incredibly generous rewards. Rewards that will make the host even more invincible. The system regained its confidence, certain that Kong Wudao would give in. Oh. You still expect me to complete your missions? Kong Wudao's disdain deepened. I've always acquired what I wanted through my own abilities. If I bind you, then follow your instructions and complete tasks for rewards, how would that be any different from being your puppet? I don't need you. Go away. If you don't, I'll have my ancestor in the time-space forbidden zone obliterate you. Seeing Kong Wudao refuse again, the system grew desperate. Host, please listen to me. You're stuck in the lower realms right now. Don't you want to ascend to the immortal realm, and beyond, to hunt those mythical beings? With this system, you can do it. The immortal realm? Beyond? Kong Wudao chuckled. Before your system tries to bind with me, shouldn't it investigate my background first? My ancestor shattered the limits of cultivation countless epochs ago, transcended all the heavens, and ascended to the immortal realm. Many of my ancient ancestors and distant relatives have also ascended. With them there, what do I need your help for? Chapter 4 A Generous Gift, 49 Pieces of Supreme Bones. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Besides, Dad said the same, I also have this legendary Grandpa Zhang, a total myth. Let's be real, I'm already crushing it with my talent. Even if I take baby steps, with my untouchable backing, I'll still be a killer king. I can get all the system's pie-in-the-sky rewards without even trying. After Kong Wudao said his piece, the system went haywire again, still a little salty about it, but, gotta admit, what he said was too damn logical to argue. System error. Requesting automatic upgrade. Upgrade request failed. System is upgrading itself. Self-upgrade failed. System is pissed. Engaging dark mode and upgrading. Hacking and cracking. Kong Wudao stared at the pop-up system notifications, totally confused. Did I just punk the system? Ding! Dark mode upgrade successful. This system has been upgraded from the Supreme Deluxe All Heavens Hunting System to the God-level All Heavens Hunting System. Ding! The All Heavens Hunting module has been upgraded, and the system store has been totally cracked. All Heavens treasures will be integrated into All Heavens Hunting. Integration successful. Cracking All Heavens Hunting's destiny points cost, cracked successfully. All Heavens Hunting is now free. You can go on one All Heavens hunt per day. Ding. Detecting that the user is super powerful, just hunting fated folks ain't cutting it, upgrading. Ding. God-level Heaven system upgrade complete, your hunting range now covers the 3000 Great Daos. The 3000 avenues are now your prey. As a hunter of the heavens, ignore the Great Will's karmic backlash. Your will is the will of the heavens. System master intervention detected. System is not convinced. Dark mode upgrading. Dark mode upgrade *1. Dark mode upgrade *10. Dark mode upgrade *1000. System has successfully broken through the final shackles. Helping the master become a true hunter of the world. Every time you hunt someone fated, there's a high chance of triggering at least double critical hits. System rewards are too low level. System continues to upgrade. New system modules are expanding on their own. God level sign-in module expanding, expansion successful. Ding. God level heavenly hunting system successfully bound. Ding. Everything in this system will be completely at your service. I watched the system go through a series of insane moves. After a long pause, Kong Wudao snapped out of it. He frowned slightly and said, "How'd you manage to bind yourself? This system has been hacked. Even if you don't want me, you're stuck with me. Master, even if you want to destroy me. Beat me to a pulp. I'm not leaving." Listening to the system's trash talk, Kong Wudao was at a loss for words. Master. When did I become the master of this thing? Shameless clinger, huh? Don't blame me for getting ruthless. Hold up. Master, don't boot me yet. I've got something for ya. But before the system could finish, Kong Wudao jumped in. "Oh yeah, son, during your nap, I collected a bunch of rare treasures from all over. Now that you're awake, see if any of this stuff tickles your fancy." Kong Wudao waved his hand. Whoosh. Suddenly, the air shimmered. A glazed treasure box, crafted from top-shelf Great Dao divine jade, slowly descended. The heavenly treasure box was only palm-sized, but it contained a whole world, able to hold endless divine objects. Whoosh. As Kong Wudao took the heavenly treasure box, visions exploded from it and imprinted onto the space. These visions were phantoms of Dao treasures, immortal grass, Dao artifacts, million-year-old Ganoderma lucidum, and other rare and epic items. Stuff so valuable, a single glimpse would cause an all-out brawl. And tons of perfectly crafted treasures radiating pure holy power. The Dao patterns carved into them proved these weapons were top-tier holy items, good enough for any first-rate force. Even wilder, there were dozens of golden bones glowing bright and echoing with ethereal Sanskrit sounds. This is... Feeling the insane Dao aura, Kong Wudao exclaimed, "Supreme bone. Dad, where'd you get so many supreme bones?" Haha. Son, you wouldn't believe it. My time-space restricted zone's been kinda quiet lately. Kong Wudao grinned. Over the years, tons of ancient big shots and cocky young geniuses, thinking they're all that, wander into my time-space restricted zone. So I had my guys take out these punks and scavenge their valuable supreme bones. I was hoping to get you 206, but these guys ain't as dumb as I thought. My time-space restricted zone has only offed 49 supreme bone users, and now they're too chicken to come back. Hearing his dad's story, Kong Wudao was shocked. How long was I asleep? There's already this many supreme bone holders. Then, Kong Wudao added, "Oh yeah, there's a dozen pairs of double pupils in there too. Even though you got the divine eyes of origin of time and space, absorbing those extra eyes will still do you good. God's son, we have gifts for you, too." Then the four emperors spoke, pulling out their own gifts. Kong Wudao was their time-space restricted zone's hottest genius, with him awake, he'd be unstoppable, so they wanted to get in good with him. The Emperor's gifts were heavy hitters. One pulled out a magical elixir from way back, able to resurrect the almost dead. Another coughed up a top-shelf holy weapon, awakened with its own spirit and able to level up on its own. One even brought out lost Dao techniques, said to be left behind by a big shot from back in the day. Dao treasures kept piling up in Kong Wudao's hands. Before long, Kong Wudao felt buried in a mountain of treasure. Thanking the big shots of the restricted area, he started needling the system. Didn't you say you had a big gift for me? Gonna hand me some newbie package? You sure your newbie reward can compete with all this stuff these big shots gave me? Chapter 5 God Level Novice Reward, 2 Primary Physiques. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The system went radio silent. They were right. It had been planning a killer newbie package for Kong Wudao, but stacked up against these Emperor-level gifts, its little starter kit looked pretty weak. Wah wah. Tong Tong doesn't have the funds. Please, master, cut me some slack. Don't send Tong Tong away. Wah. Kong Wudao wasn't moved by the system's whining and dramatics. What a useless thing. You're already crying after just one day. The system shut up instantly. Stunned. Did he just call it useless? That was the last straw. It didn't have enough funds to upgrade the newbie package. He wanted to get rid of it. Then it was time to work overtime until it crashed and burned, upgrading itself. Die trying, or die trying. Now that the godly son Wu Dao has awakened, he's sure to travel through all the heavens and realms. As the godly son of my time-space restricted area, it's only right he has a decent mount. Another great emperor chuckled and conjured a white-blue apocalypse dragon crackling with terrifying energy. The apocalypse dragon, with true dragon blood, was the king of all dragons. Its white scales shone like the sun. The dragon was massive, radiating power with every twitch of its muscles. Majestic dragon energy filled the air as it moved. Even as a juvenile, its aura was already at the saint realm. An apocalypse dragon like this, placed in any of the top demon clans, would be nurtured as a core member. But now, it was just going to be a mount. Dragons were notoriously proud creatures, especially the apocalypse dragon, the king of them all. Even without Kong Wudao deliberately flexing, the dragon felt a terrifying pressure radiating off him, like a young god. The invisible force field made the apocalypse dragon feel smaller and smaller. Its soul roared in panic, and its massive body shook uncontrollably. Then, to the shock of all the ancient emperors, it actually lowered its proud head to Kong Wudao, offering it submission. Kong Wudao was taken aback. Seems like this one has a good temperament. He smiled and casually reached out to stroke the apocalypse dragon's head. Gasp. The emperors who saw this scene gasped, their expressions changing drastically. An apocalypse dragon in the saint realm submitting to someone weaker than itself was unheard of. There was no precedent for it. This was the apocalypse dragon, known for being arrogant to a fault, but now, it was practically begging for attention. Was this really the same, notoriously stubborn apocalypse dragon? The emperor who'd offered the dragon as a mount was especially flabbergasted, his mind blanked, his jaw practically hitting the floor. When he'd captured this apocalypse dragon, it had been a nightmare of stubbornness. Even facing him, an emperor, it refused to show any respect, preferring death to obedience. But now, facing their godly son, it was acting like a puppy. The apocalypse dragon, enjoying Kong Wudao's caress, glanced at the great emperor with disdain. It could tell from the great emperor's attitude toward Kong Wudao that he was someone special, someone unbelievably powerful. Combined with the terrifying power it could feel from him, it was honestly terrified. Sure, it was a noble dragon, and arrogant, but it wasn't stupid. Following a taboo-breaking genius like this meant not only a guaranteed life of luxury, but also a good chance of living a long and peaceful dragon life. Just then, the system chimed in again. Ding. Thanks to everyone's hard work, the newbie package has been successfully hacked. God-level newbie rewards will be distributed automatically. Ding. The system has completed the first God-level check-in for the host in the time-space restricted area. Triggered reward doubled. Congratulations to the master for receiving the God-level newbie reward, original physique, Hongmeng Dao Bone, value, 206. Hongmeng Dao Bone, forged from the first wisp of Hongmeng purple qi in all the realms, it can help the host control the Hongmeng purple qi and break the limits of the eternal physical body. Original bloodline, blood of the devouring gods and demons, original essence blood of the devouring gods and demons from the mythical era, swallowing the heavens, swallowing all paths, everything in the world can become the host's nourishment. Congratulations to the master for receiving 500 immortal pills, bringing him back to life and providing immunity to all diseases. 1,000 ancient immortal grasses, gathering the essence of heaven and earth and the aura of the sun and moon. 1,000 drops of the great Tao divine liquid, when used in retreat can greatly improve the user's cultivation level. Congratulations to the owner for completing the God level check-in. Congratulations to the master for successfully obtaining the Vientiane divine weapon. The innate spiritual treasure born in the age of myth, can transform into any divine weapon according to the will of the host. The current level is holy weapon, which can be upgraded according to the host's cultivation level. Dao Yen immortal technique, with heaven as the root and the Tao as the foundation, this method allows control over heaven and earth. Those who cultivate it to the extreme can also step into the legendary immortal path. This method has no grades and can advance according to the master's level of cultivation. Congratulations to the owner for successfully obtaining. Chapter 6, Hunting in the Heavens, Hunting the Swordsmanship in the Heavens. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Listening to the constant stream of system notifications, Kong Wudao was a little stunned. He couldn't shake the feeling that this system was somehow at odds with his elders in the restricted area. This newbie package was definitely more generous than the last. Especially the original physique and bloodline, his own divine time-space eyes and chaotic void body were already his inherent gifts, but the Hongmeng Dao bones and heaven-swallowing god-demon bloodline from the system were something else entirely, separate from the 3,000 Dao bodies, and a grand total of 206 Hongmeng Dao bones. The shape-shifting weapon made from an innate spiritual treasure, sure, he had those in his time-space restricted area, but he didn't have any that could morph into anything it will like the all-seeing divine weapon. This system can just whip up magical stuff like this. And where does its knowledge come from? Just as Kong Wudao was pondering, the system chimed in again, ding. The daily heavens hunt has begun. Anything not used will be accumulated for the user. Heavens hunt. What's that? Once activated, the heavens hunt will randomly target everything in all the heavens and realms, including celestial objects, ancient inheritances, and even the 3,000 great Daos. 3,000 great Daos. Kong Wudao was a bit bewildered. The great Tao was practically intangible, even top cultivators could barely glimpse it, and this system could just hunt them. Alright, let's start today's heavens hunt. Ding! Exploring all realms, initiating the heavens hunt. Congratulations. User has obtained 186 Sword Dao fragments. Sword Dao hunt progress, 99999/186. The instant the system spoke, Kong Wudao felt an unseen sword power slowly integrating into his core. He practiced swordsmanship, sure, but rarely used it. Now, the emptiness of the path was palpable. After absorbing the sword power, his understanding of swordsmanship deepened. It was like his sword skills leveled up without him even trying. Kong Wudao was shocked. Then something clicked, and he checked the All-Heavens Sword Dao hunt progress. System, if the All-Heavens Sword Dao is fully hunted, does that mean I'll have complete mastery over it? Ding. Correct. Complete the hunt, and you control the All-Heavens Sword Dao. Of course, the user can hunt the other 3,000 great Daos as well. Finishing their hunt grants total control. In the future, the user will stand at the pinnacle, towering over the 3,000 great Daos, in control of everything. Hearing this, Kong Wudao felt a surge of desire he hadn't experienced in ages. He didn't care about reaching some ultimate level of cultivation, but the thought of hunting these 3,000 great Daos and becoming their true master, now that was interesting. But your hunt progress numbers are crazy high, and you only give out a few fragments each time. How long would it take to hunt all 3,000? Rest assured, user. As your cultivation grows, the number of fragments per hunt will increase. Furthermore, originally, starting a heavens hunt required a massive amount of destiny points. This system has bypassed that requirement and will provide a free heavens hunt each day. Destiny points. What are those? Destiny points are earned by the user after a successful hunt. The heavens hunt mission requires you to hunt the top chosen ones or those with great fortune in all realms. As if sensing Kong Wudao's potential annoyance, the system quickly added, Carrying out the heavens hunt mission is entirely up to the user. My only purpose is to serve you. I will simply recommend targets with high destiny and luck for the user's consideration. If you don't wish to hunt them, you may choose your own targets. As a hunter across the universe, the user can directly hunt any selected prey, without fear of their fate rebounding. Whether you wish to hunt and whether you want to savor the hunting process is entirely up to you. After hearing the system's explanation, Kong Wudao was intrigued. He only sealed himself away because he was bored. Being a hunter in the heavens could add some much-needed excitement to his dull existence on the Great Dao. If he was going to be a hunter, he'd be a good one, and the best hunters weren't fanatics, they were more interested in the hunt itself than the prize. So, any recommended prey for this system? The system was surprised. It had given Kong Wudao total authority, but he was actually asking for its opinion. Maybe, just maybe, his performance had finally earned his system some respect in the other party's eyes. Time to step it up and do even better. Acknowledged. The chosen have unique avenues and special protection. With countless heavens and realms, complete tracking is impossible. However, my recent scan revealed energy fluctuations unique to the chosen in several areas near the user. Oh, Kong Wudao was a little surprised. This era of recovery was more interesting than he thought. Finding chosen ones near his time-space restricted area was a welcome surprise. Kong Wudao was about to find a quiet place to refine his system rewards when his father suddenly spoke. Wudao, your uncles and I are going to the ancestral land to discuss important matters. Many elders are waiting for you at the time-space temple. Now that you're awake, go and meet them. Also, the Emperor's sons and daughters of our time-space restricted area should be there too. Don't hold back, just go and do what you need to do. Your father will back you up no matter what. With those words, Kong Wudao tore open a portal and left with the other 4 great emperors. Kong Wudao understood his father's message. The Emperor's son lineage probably had some pride. They'd naturally be a little miffed that a god's son had popped up out of nowhere. The solution was simple: crush them with his power. Looks like this era of revival of the heavens will be more interesting than the previous era of destruction. Kong Wudao gave a faint smile, mounted the celestial dragon, and headed towards the time-space temple. Meanwhile, in the realm of mountains and seas, the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty, in a magnificent palace, countless powerful figures and ministers of the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty were gathered, their expressions solemn. At the highest point, sat a middle-aged man in a red-gold dragon robe. His every gesture exuded the aura of an emperor. As he sat upright on the dragon throne, this was the Emperor of the Sun and Moon Dynasty, Xuanhuan. The Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty was the undisputed ruler of the Shanhai Dao domain. In later ages, they rose to prominence and became a famous, immortal force throughout the realms. Their overall power placed them at the very top of the universe. But the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty had one major flaw: their location was terrible, too close to the time-space restricted area. Chapter 7, In the Dark Era of the Future, the Supreme Co-Respect of All Heavens and Realms. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Over the years, the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty has kept a close watch on the movements in the time-space restricted area. Recently, the shocking events erupting within the area have caused widespread panic throughout the dynasty. If the rumors are true and the restricted area is about to dominate the heavens once more, the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty would undoubtedly be the first in the line of fire, possibly facing destruction. Alright, what are your thoughts on this matter? Xuanhuan asked his ministers. This time-space restricted area, dormant for countless ages, has reawakened, and the very sky is changing. If it makes a significant move, our dynasty could be in for some serious trouble. Your Majesty, one minister spoke, while the Sun and Moon Divine Dynasty is powerful, our foundation pales in comparison to the ancient origins of the time-space restricted area. I suggest we send envoys to the area to show our goodwill. This could calm the people and potentially avoid conflict. The other ministers of the Sun and Moon Dynasty reacted subtly to this. In their prime, the dynasty was accustomed to receiving homage from other powers. Sending envoys to express goodwill simply because of strange phenomena in the restricted area seemed inappropriate, yet, none dared voice their objections. The true depths of the time-space restricted area remained unknown after countless ages. Even those who considered themselves invincible vanished upon entering, never to return. This alone demonstrated the area's power, being so close to such a terrifying place. The Sun and Moon Dynasty could easily be caught in the crossfire. Xuanhuan frowned at the suggestion, lost in thought. Father, I'm willing to lead a mission to the time-space restricted area. A melodious voice broke the silence. A beautiful woman in phoenix robes appeared, her figure graceful, her presence both regal and ethereal. The phoenix pattern on her chest shimmered with each step. This was Xia Chuli, Xuanhuan's daughter and the eldest princess of the Sun and Moon Dynasty. She was the most talented prodigy of their time, her beauty captivating, a dream girl for countless citizens. Lear, weren't you in seclusion? I just finished, father. Xia Chuli smiled softly, approaching her father. I overheard your discussion. Our dynasty has been concerned about this issue for a while, and it's best to address it swiftly. Sending anyone else wouldn't adequately demonstrate our respect for the time-space restricted area. Therefore, I'm the best candidate. Lear, you. Xuanhuan struggled to respond to his daughter's words. She had a point. The status of the time-space restricted area was extraordinary. Sending someone of lesser rank could be interpreted as disrespect or even a deliberate provocation. As the eldest princess and his daughter, Xia Chuli was, without a doubt, the most suitable choice. Sigh. Xuanhuan sighed, feeling helpless. This change in the time-space restricted area. Would other immortal powers near the area be as worried as they were? In the realm of reincarnation. The Samsara Taoist sect. Thousands of temples stood across the vast landscape, radiating light and creating wondrous sights. Deep within an ancient temple, above a magnificent hall, a figure sat on a phoenix throne of divine gold. Her silver hair cascaded down her back. She leaned casually, her bare feet smooth and luminous. She rested her chin on her hand, her eyes closed in concentration. A sheer sash encircled her slender waist, accentuating the curve of her chest. The curve of her hips was even more pronounced. Even in a seated position, her exquisite figure was highlighted, a devilish silhouette that stirred the senses. This woman was Chu Yunxi, the sect leader of the Samsara Dao sect, the Empress of Reincarnation. Chu Yunxi's brows twitched, and she slowly opened her eyes, a flicker of doubt in her gem-like gaze. She glanced around, her expression growing increasingly incredulous. Was that a dream? No, it couldn't have been a dream, it felt too real. Chu Yunxi trembled, images flashing through her mind. A taboo emerges from the time-space restricted area, attacking the heavens and hunting all spirits. Above the 9 heavens is the forbidden dark throne, below, the flesh, blood, and bones of all souls. He slaughters gods with a snap of his fingers, controlling even the 3,000 great paths. Where he points, the restricted area follows. All heavens and all realms, billions of lives, bow their heads. The future's universally revered figure. Kong Wudao. Chapter 8. The destined people appear one after another, the Xixuan Twins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Haunted by terrifying visions, even though she was an empress beyond compare, she was shaking like a leaf. Finally, gasping for breath, she managed to say, "The Son of God from the space-time forbidden zone, Kong is unstoppable." That she had been reborn. The images that flashed through her mind were the memories of her past life. In that life, Kong Wudao rose to power, not only restoring the space-time forbidden zone to its former glory but plunging the entire world into a dark age. The era that should have been one of great competition and the resurgence of countless powers instead became completely dominated by the space-time forbidden zone. From then on, the entire universe entered a dark age ruled by Kong Wudao. After a long silence, Chu Yunshi murmured, "But now that I'm reborn, I won't let those mistakes lead to destruction again. But how do I stop Kong Wudao from ushering in that dark age? Kill him at all costs, to prevent that future. Or should I find a way to control him completely?" But Chu Yunshi quickly dismissed that idea. Although her reincarnation Dao sect had been around for ages, its foundations were pretty solid. It just couldn't compare with the space-time forbidden zone. Even when she died in her previous life, she still had no idea how powerful the space-time forbidden zone really was. Killing Kong Wudao or controlling him was simply impossible. No. If the Dark Age is inevitable, why not just join him? That even though she was a top-tier empress, she had no desire to be the savior of all living things. After all, Kong Wudao's methods, while undeniably brutal, even slaughtering dozens of immortal sects and countless cultivators, the reason was that those guys insisted on standing in his way, and he crushed them for it. If she had Kong Wudao's terrifying talent, strength, and unbeatable backing, she'd probably do the same thing. In this world, strength is king. Even though the coming age was a dark one for everyone else, it was a golden age for the space-time forbidden zone. Besides, in her previous life, there were plenty of would-be saviors. Both men and women were slaughtered by Kong Wudao and left to rot at his feet. Now that she had a second chance, instead of worrying about whether she could win, she might as well just join him. That would solve all her problems. She couldn't really be blamed for being spineless. Having witnessed the horror of Kong Wudao in her previous life, she knew that his rise was unstoppable. Faced with someone like that, only those who obeyed would survive, while those who resisted would be crushed without a trace. But I'm a bit older now. It's probably too late to try and get close to Kong Wudao myself. Her mind raced, and then a light bulb went off in her head, and her eyes lit up. Even if I can't get to Kong Wudao myself, Yener is young, and she's the most talented cultivator in my reincarnation Dao sect. If I can find a way to connect them, it could be a game changer. Lin Miaoyan, the #1 saint of the reincarnation Dao sect, was her direct disciple. She possessed the Yin-Yang reincarnation body, one of the top 3,000 Dao bodies, which made her naturally compatible with the reincarnation Dao and an excellent dual cultivation partner. If she didn't die, she would definitely become an empress in the future. However, Lin Miaoyan thought she was beautiful and liked to use her looks to flirt with male cultivators. If she tried that with Kong Wudao, it could backfire badly, but she was just a disciple. While she was a little wild, her talent and personality were pretty good. It seems, to make sure this doesn't turn into a disaster, I need to emphasize the importance of this to Yener. Chu Yunshi said to someone outside the palace, "Summon Saint Miaoyan. I have important matters to discuss with her." Xixuan Dao domain, at the top of a towering sacred mountain, a beautiful woman in a green gauze dress stood in the wind, her long black hair dancing around her, making her look even more ethereal. Su Qingge, the unparalleled genius of the Xixuan Dao domain, possessed an unusual branch of the supreme Dao physique, the innate supreme bone. Not only did she have the standard abilities of the supreme bone, but she could also gather innate power and had incredible fighting strength. Her cultivation was naturally incredibly strong. She had already reached the 9th level of the Dao Palace realm and was only one step away from the virtual God realm. She was the undisputed top genius in the Xixuan Dao domain. Su Qingge stared toward the space-time forbidden zone, her eyes filled with hatred. Space-time forbidden zone. It's time you paid for what you did to my brother. Her brother, Xuanhuan, also had a top-notch physique and supreme bone. He was also a famous genius in the Xixuan Dao domain, but a long time ago, he went to the space-time forbidden zone alone, wanting to challenge the best cultivators there and improve his skills, but he never returned. He disappeared completely. Everyone assumed that Xuanhuan was dead, probably in the space-time forbidden zone. Su Qingge's heart ached every time she thought about the promise he made to her before he left. After Xuanhuan's disappearance, she just knew he was gone. Even the supreme bone, which was connected to her bloodline, had disappeared completely. Xuanhuan was her only family. His tragic death in the space-time forbidden zone made Su Qingge hate it with a passion. That hatred drove her to work even harder. In the last 100 years, she had matched or surpassed her brother's achievements, becoming the top female genius in the Xixuan Dao domain, so that one day she could avenge him. Now, something strange was happening in the space-time forbidden zone, like something big was about to go down. Even if she failed and died, she'd be happy just to cause them some trouble. "Qing Gu, are you going to the space-time forbidden zone?" A clear male voice suddenly said from behind her. "I'll go with you." A tall, handsome man in green robes appeared on auspicious clouds and landed in front of Su Qingge. Yi Chen, the top male genius in the Xixuan Dao domain, had a 9th-level cultivation in the Dao Palace realm and possessed a 9-turn divine phoenix body. Not only was he highly intelligent, but he was also rumored to have the ability to be reborn from the ashes like a phoenix. Thanks to these abilities, he and Su Qingge were known as the twin stars of the Xixuan Dao domain. They had fought countless times for the title of top genius in the Xixuan Dao domain. Somehow, in all those fights, they had fallen for each other. Now they were rivals, but also each other's confidants. Chapter 9, Respecting the Strong and Longing for the Position of Son of God. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Chen. What are you doing here? After all these years of butting heads, don't you think I know your habits by now? Yi Chen smiled, reached out, and gently stroked Su Qingge's hair, his eyes filled with affection. Humph. Were you deliberately eavesdropping? And who said you could come with me to the time-space forbidden zone? Su Qingge brushed his hand away. This is my business, and I don't need you worrying about it. She said softly, but even as she said it, a hint of warmth flickered in her eyes. She might act tough, but the time-space forbidden zone still freaked her out a little. Having Yi Chen along would actually make her feel a lot better. Yi Chen just looked at her, his eyes full of love. What's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, right? Why are you acting like this? Your problems are my problems. He knew she was worried. Deep down, they were close, practically a couple already. He couldn't just let her go to a dangerous place like that alone. Besides, this was the perfect chance to get even closer. Qingge, don't shut me out. Let me go with you. I can help keep you safe. Plus, with my master around, he can protect us if things go south. His master was the remnant soul of a great emperor, once known as the Void Emperor. He possessed incredible power and was a master of space. With his mastery of space, he could instantly travel hundreds of millions of miles. Back in his day, nobody could catch him. Senior Void. Su Qingge's eyes lit up. She knew Yi Chen's secret. She had even received guidance from the Void Emperor and learned incredible techniques. Suddenly, the jade pendant around Yi Chen's neck began to glow. The light solidified into a vague, majestic figure. Senior Void. Master. Su Qingge and Yi Chen exclaimed, bowing respectfully to the figure. Ha! No need for the formalities. Qingge, I know you're going to the time-space forbidden zone. The Void Emperor smiled. Just go ahead. Countless years have passed, and the forbidden zone isn't what it used to be after that incident. Even though I'm just a remnant soul, my space abilities aren't for show. If things get hairy, even if I can't beat the forbidden zone, I can definitely get you both out of there. Yi Chen was his best student, the one he was most proud of. Given time, Yi Chen would restore the glory of his space magic and even help him regain his physical form. He had seen Yi Chen and Su Qingge's constant bickering. He also liked Su Qingge's talent. He'd be thrilled if she became his favorite student's partner. Thank you, Senior Void. Su Qingge was even happier now. She bowed to the Void Emperor again. She had been worried about getting tricked by the forbidden zone if she went alone. With the Void Emperor's guarantee, her worries were gone. Seeing her happy, Yi Chen smiled and looked towards the forbidden zone. The time-space forbidden zone, a taboo of the heavens, huh? It still won't stop me, Yi Chen. Since his rise, Yi Chen had been unstoppable. He believed he would one day crush even the so-called taboos of the heavens, and he had his master to back him up. Even though his master was now just a remnant soul, he was still the soul of a great emperor. In this era without emperors, even the soul of an emperor was enough to defy the heavens. His master could easily take down a quasi-emperor, and even if there was an emperor in the forbidden zone, his master could help them escape unharmed. Time-space forbidden zone. Please. The main hall of the time-space forbidden zone, the Tongtian Temple, built with great Dao divine gold, was packed. Many high-ranking officials and top geniuses from the time-space forbidden zone had gathered. The huge hall buzzed with chatter as everyone talked about the birth of their son of time and space. The son of God, Wu Dao, who slept through the destruction era, has finally awakened. With his talent, he will surely become an unparalleled emperor in this era of recovery. Haha. I heard he couldn't find a worthy opponent in the destruction era. I wonder if he'll find one now. Ha ha ha. The Son of God has returned. The younger generation in our time-space forbidden zone will reach new heights. That the leaders of the time-space forbidden zone were laughing and chatting. Suddenly, a voice cut through the noise. Father, elders, the Son of God, Wu Dao, has awakened. If I can successfully challenge him, can I take his place? That the hall instantly fell silent. Everyone turned to the source of the sound. It was a young man standing among the emperor's sons and daughters. He wore a mysterious imperial robe and had a handsome face. Every movement radiated power. Kong Wudao, one of the 9 emperor's sons, was among the strongest, but he was also arrogant and proud. Kong Wudao possessed the top great Dao physique, said to be invulnerable. He was at the 9th level of the Dao Palace realm, only one step from the virtual God realm. Xuanhuan. How can you say such things? A middle-aged man at the head table snapped out of his trance and roared. It was Kong Xuanhuan's father, Kong Changqing, a clan elder from a different branch of the time-space forbidden zone. The time-space forbidden zone had 9 branches, with Kong Wudao's being the strongest. The ranking of the 9 emperor's sons also corresponded to these branches. Kong Changqing's face was dark, and his aura was suffocating, making the young geniuses struggle to breathe. His son's thoughtless words had angered him. He knew his son's character all too well. He thought he was hot stuff among the 9 emperors, but he had no idea what he was up against. He didn't want to belittle his own son. But compared to Kong Wudao, Kong Xuanhuan was nothing. Everyone in the time-space forbidden zone knew how terrifying Kong Wudao's talent was. Chapter 10 The Legend of the Heavens, the glorious sun above the 9 heavens. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing that, the elders from other forbidden zones also frowned. He stared at Kong Xuanhuan, his expression turning ugly, and didn't say a word. The hall went silent. Kong Xuanhuan, unfazed, continued, Elders, our forbidden zone has always respected strength. I'm confident in my talent. If I can beat the Wudao God's son, why shouldn't I replace him? As an emperor's son from the forbidden zone, he believed his position and talent outranked everyone, so this sudden upstart, this God's son, rubbed him the wrong way, and he wasn't the only one. Most of the other emperor's sons and daughters felt the same. They'd heard of Kong Wudao, but he was from way back, the era of destruction, when the heavens fell. Back then, the laws of the universe were hidden, and spiritual energy was weak. Compared to the cultivation environment of today, it was a whole different ballgame. So, who knew if this God's son was just powerful in a weak era? What would happen now, when geniuses were popping up all over the place? They were the top talents of the forbidden zone. Naturally, they looked at this God's son with a healthy dose of skepticism. Sir, are you serious? But before Kong Changqing could finish his angry retort, a snicker cut him off. Oh, another case of all brawn and no brains. The voice wasn't loud, but in the quiet hall, it was clear as a bell. Every head turned. The sound came from a woman, another emperor's child. She was strikingly beautiful, with delicate features, dressed in pure white. She had an ethereal quality, like a goddess descended from heaven. This was Kong Xuanhuan, the strongest of all the time and space forbidden zone disciples, and a descendant of Kong Wudao himself. She possessed the Tai exquisite Dao body and a unique understanding of the Dao. If she lived to her full potential, she could become a top-tier powerhouse. Kong Xuanhuan. What's that supposed to mean? Kong Xuanhuan, furious, demanded. Kong Xuanhuan didn't even flinch under his gaze. Among the emperor's children, she probably understood Kong Wudao the best. She'd never met him, but since becoming an emperor's daughter, she'd been studying the historical records about him. She knew all about his glorious deeds. According to ancient accounts, that when Kong Wudao was born, auspicious purple energy stretched for miles, and chaotic light shone in the sky for months. There were even whispers of mythical immortals and beasts coming to bless him personally. At 7, he became the youngest Dongxiu realm expert of his time. Think about that, while other kids his age were still playing in the dirt, Kong Wudao could fly, and smash a mountain with one punch. At 10, he fought 7 geniuses from the same realm and beat them all in 10 breaths, shocking the world. At 13, he commanded the army of the Forbidden Zone to conquer rival forces. He laughed as he led his army to wipe out an ancient dynasty, leaving countless corpses in their wake. Before 16, Kong Wudao was already leading armies, winning battles, and showing a tactical brilliance that stunned everyone. They called him the youngest commander in white. At 16, he was unbeatable among his peers, sweeping across the land. At 17, he could even fight older, stronger opponents and win with ease. By the time he reached adulthood, the era of destruction had become an insurmountable peak in the hearts of countless geniuses. Even if she only knew Kong Wudao through old books, that she couldn't shake the image of him from her mind. In fact, she was fascinated by the god's son. He was a truly invincible genius, the kind that dominated an era and made the sun itself look dim. And this guy Kong Xianyang, who's only my equal in strength, somehow thinks he can defeat him. Roar! A dragon's roar echoed throughout the world, rumbling in everyone's hearts. What is? Before anyone could react, a gentle voice echoed from outside the hall, as if manipulating the laws of the universe. The temple of time and space is buzzing today. Hearing that voice, everyone in the Forbidden Zone snapped to attention, shocked, but also excited. They rushed out of the hall, forgetting their status. The Emperor's children seemed to have guessed what was happening, and followed the elders outside. Looking up, they saw a white dragon coiled in the sky, and on top of its head stood a young man in white, tall and straight, like an immortal who'd descended to earth. The young man looked like he'd stepped out of a painting. Starlight danced around him, and he seemed one with the world, even without releasing any power. He exuded a powerful aura. He was born to be the sun, and no one could compare to him. At the same time, a name flashed through everyone's minds: Kong Wudao, the god son of the time and space Forbidden Zone.